Hey, this is my video review of the Power Rangers Lost Galaxy Megazord. So before we get started, I thought, I'd give just a little bit of background, but I've been collecting Power Rangers for years, and I've kind of wanted to put these Zords to use as more than just shelf warmers and display pieces and that kind of thing. So I thought, hell, if other people can do reviews, why can't I? And really at this point, there was no specific reason. I mean, if you're watching this, this is my first review I will have posted to this channel. But I kind of just looked around and I was like, which one stands out to me right now? And I went with this one. So that's kind of it. Let's get started, I guess. We'll start, you can see them here. They're in their Beast, Zord formations. They're not combined. You've got the Wildcat Galactazord, which is the Pink Rangers, the Gorilla Galactazord, the Condor chilling out back there with his wingspan. You've got the Lion Galactazord and the Wolf Galactazord. If you watch the show, you know these transform to their Zord forms from the Galacta Beasts. So these are kind of like the first living Zords I feel like we got in the series. Don't quote me on that because I could be wrong, but I don't recall anybody who was actually designated as a Zord as living. I don't think you can count Ninja or Auric as Zords exactly. They were just like Zord-like allies. So yeah, just looking at the Zords here, this Wildcat is probably my least favorite and one of the creepiest Zords I think in the series. I have never liked this design, and I get that it's kind of like an Egyptian stylized cat, like the kind you'd see in hieroglyphs and that kind of thing. And in that case, it's cool, I guess, but I just don't like its face. I don't like your face. And I don't have any figures out here, but I didn't like Caron / Kendrix's. I guess I could have reversed that and went in the order they were, Rangers in. But anyway, I don't like her helmet. I just don't like this design in the face. It freaks me out. Though I guess in a way it kind of looks like, and I haven't seen this show in years either, but it kind of looks like Gatomon from Digimon, so that instantly gives it points because Gatomon is awesome. But my knowledge of Digimon is somehow less than my knowledge of Sentai because I am not that well versed in Sentai. I am mostly a Power Rangers exclusive fan. So that said, kind of white everywhere with really terrible pink stickers, and the stickers are old. This toy is from 1999. This is not my original one. I got this online. I don't remember if it was eBay or through a Facebook group or what. So stickers were not my placement or under my care until this year, actually. So I previously owned this Zord roughly 6 years ago, but some life stuff came up and I had to get rid of the majority of my collection, and that sucked. So yeah, this is my second time actually owning this Megazord. As far as articulation goes, it's very basic, mostly because of the transformation, but you can move her paws here. Her tail can be posed. Same with these back ones, but you can't really do anything. I guess you could, hey, I'm a cat, I'm jumping and stuff. If you wanted, but you can't really pose it. Aside from right here, there's a tab where you can open and close her mouth. So, I don't know. After I've said I've hated it, now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I guess you're not that bad. You're fine, whatever. Next is the Gorilla, and he is a big guy, which is fine. We accept you for who you are. You might even see me in these chrome bits here. because they are highly reflective. They are chrome. They're not die cast, but you know, whatever. Same with his paws, his feet. I don't know if you say gorillas have paws. I don't know. Not an animal expert. So he's got his little shoulder pads here, which is mostly just stylistic and facilitates part of the transformation. He's got some posable arms to an extent, which, yeah, you could rotate them around, get that nice clicky sound. But I usually don't. Also, I display my stuff in Megazord mode, usually, so, but you can do this. There's no articulation in the legs, and he's pretty basic on the back. There's a super secret hidden function on him, which I will show during the transformation and not spoil it right now, so we'll get to that. Also, he looks pretty cool. So as much as I dislike, or apparently disliked, since now I'm kind of leaning towards enjoying the Wildcat. Anyway, I like the gorilla. I think he looks cool. I don't know what it is about him, but he's neat looking. But then looking at the next one, the Condor, he's easily my favorite one from these 5 Zords because he just looks friggin' awesome. He's pretty simple. I mean, as far as like what he can do, he can move his claws, talons, legs, his front ones too. I mean, he doesn't really get any posability. His tail's pretty static, and his wings move, but that's more part of his secret ability too, was his Megazord transformation. He's pretty heavy. He wouldn't look like he is, but this part right here is like straight up die cast. So it's cold to the touch. He's soulless, but he's heavy. He's got some weight to him. His head is posable as well, and strangely enough, I don't see anything missing there, but he doesn't have a mouth, like a beak to open. It's just all one piece, so I guess that kind of makes sense. There's nothing like, I don't think he's missing anything because there doesn't seem to be any stuff here, and I don't remember my original one. Probably didn't have it, but I mean, that's it. In GingaiOh, he was called GingaiOh, and you know, here he's a condor, so these are all star beasts in the Sentai footage, so they're just supposed to be alien representations of animals, but I guess we've already had a Falcon Zord once at this point, so they wanted to do something different and go with a condor, which is funny because in Wild Force we will have a falcon and a condor, but he kind of gives off dragon vibes, but again, I think that's his alien influence, because all of these are basically alien interpretations of Earth animals. Just to go off on a little tangent, Power Rangers got super lucky with this, with wanting to do another space-based show season after In Space, because like I said, my knowledge of Sentai is super limited, but GingaiOh was a nature-based Sentai. It wasn't a space-based one. Not that Mega Ranger was space-based either, up past the mecha themselves, but with these being alien creatures, it really helped tie together the whole, like, we're on a space colony and we found these creatures in space who are weirdly connected to our powers and our suits, and we never address it, and we never will. Just go with it, it's fine. So, on that note, here's the lion. He's easily the, I guess, core. Obviously, he's the Red Ranger Zord piece. He's the weirdest looking one. If I dislike the Pink Ranger Zord because of the face, this one, I don't know. He's something. I mean, yeah, he's an alien interpretation of a lion, but he's just kind of blocky and boxy and whatever. And mine, his joints are super loose, so he can pose a little bit, but they're not very tight on mine, and his tail is super weak, so I don't know if you noticed that, but it doesn't stay up. So I actually have to point it up like he's at high alert. He just saw a squirrel, even though he's a lion. Dog owners will understand. He's got some mouth articulation, but I don't know if it's just mine, but the helmet, the face for the Megazord is there, and if I pull too hard, it'll come down, but he's got a little flappy mouth, whatever. He's got some leg articulation, but if you've got the crown horns for the Megazord stored under here, like you can, because you can put them on the peg there, it kind of gets in the way, so not much to do with him. He's also my least favorite to transform for the Megazord form, which I'm sure you will see me struggle with unless I get super lucky because I'm running a camera right now. And this is the Yellow Ranger Zord. It's a wolf, same basic mold design-ish as the Wildcat. It's got some tail articulation, the same leg articulation. The joints are super loose on this one too. I kind of want to take a guess and say that whoever had this before me, and possibly before that person, etc., played with this a lot because the joints are super loose completely. I mean, I say that, they're not like just flopping around, but they're not as tight as some of my other Zords are. And I mean, I mentioned the stickers earlier. I wish there was a way I could kind of secure them. I have an idea, but I really don't want to do it, so I'm probably not even going to mention it. But if we ever get replacement labels, like I know there are websites out there, but I haven't seen any for Lost Galaxy, I think I'm going to rip all these off and put some Goo Gone on it and replace them, because I have no real attachment to this Megazord based on the show. Lost Galaxy was actually the season back when it was current, years ago, that I kind of started to fall out of Power Rangers. I wasn't super into the idea of not having full continuity. You know, when Space ended and then suddenly Lost Galaxy premiered and we had this brand new cast, they had nothing to do with Zordon, or even though Zordon, at this point, spoilers, was dead. I just expected the In-Space team to come back and continue with getting new powers, whatever, the standard status quo. Yes, we had Alpha 6 and we had the Mega Ship, and then Bulk and the Professor, but that really kind of turned me off to the series, which in 99 I would have been 14, so you know, I was becoming a teenager, and I pretend that I had like an active social life or anything like that, but it was not the case. No, I just kind of, I guess I was feeling Power Rangers fatigue. I'm not really sure, but I know the biggest cause of it was I didn't care about these new people. Eventually, due to behind the scenes stuff, Caron came back, and Astronema was even then one of my favorite villains, and even as a 14-year-old, I've always loved a good redemption arc. So seeing Caron come back, and then of course to the 10th Power and all the episodes leading up to that point, having the Space Rangers return, kind of piqued my interest, and I came back and I was like, oh, maybe this isn't as bad as my brain made it out to be. So I appreciate them, but yeah, I don't have any kind of attachment to the Megazords themselves, or the Zords themselves. The Megazord in show, like, yes, I know they're all giant robot costumes with people inside, but he looks goofy. I don't like it. But for whatever reason, the toy itself looks awesome to me. Like, on my shelf, he's huge. He's a clunker. He looks like he can kick your ass. Sorry, kids, if you're watching, I said a bad word. As Captain America would say, language. Anyway, I don't know. He just looks cool, and that's part of the reason I think it stood out to me when I was looking for something to do this first review with. So now that I've ranted again, let's move some stuff out of the way and get this started, which I say move, but the condor is huge and doesn't move very well. So you start with the gorilla, or at least I do, because I want to start with the legs. And that super secret thing I was talking to you about earlier is on the bottom of his feet. If he's complete, he'll have his hands, and they can store right here. He could also be complete, and you could not store them here, but if I were displaying this in Zord form, I'd want all the pieces hidden as best as they could be, because I have a tendency to lose stuff, or I did. But anyway, they store there, and now that I'm an adult and I can buy like storage bins and that kind of stuff, it's not maybe that big of a deal, but it's built in. Let's use it. So to continue this, if I can stop getting distracted, flop these up, and you take his chest and you slide it down. When you do that, it makes a very nice satisfying click, clank. The chest splits open, and then you can see how hollow it is in there. His arms fold up, which is a neat way of being similar to things like the Shogun Megazord's Red Zord, the 8 Ninja Zord, and yeah, instead of folding it into the back, which I guess they could have done somehow, they fold it to the side, which is super neat. So, next is the Condor, and he doesn't really have a super complicated thing. It's actually kind of similar to the Falcon Zord, which I think is neat in its own way. You fold the arms up, you fold the legs out almost, because they have their own little peg hooks, and you just put them, oh god, I'm not going to be able to do this on camera. You just snap them onto these pegs here, which I'm not doing a very good job on. There we go. And he just kind of chills there. It's balanced. He's not going to fall, but it does add some weight to the bat because, like I said, this die-cast piece is, let's see if I can move this up, kind of heavy. So that adds some weight to the back. So if you do hit it, he'll fall over. In fact, I'm clumsy and I don't have very steady hands, so I would not be surprised if I did knock this over. In fact, I'm going to move him back. So, all right, this guy. Let's see if I can actually do it. You pull off the helmet piece here. Again, the storage thing if you have it. You toss it over to the side like the trash it is. No, I just threw it. Anyway, you fold his knee back into his leg. Same here. Then you squeeze them and you fold them up, which I can't do both at the same time. So anyhow, those go up. The tail can finally fall down, and his front legs, they fold back like this. Nice, cool. This is the part I dislike, the head. So let's just push that out of the way for now. And you basically shove this forward, forming the chest. The head is weird because this black piece here separates almost from this die-cast metal piece, which is really nice. You know, I'm glad it's a sturdy thing considering the work I have to put into it. But it's getting the head to sit flush that I always have issues with. And basically, like if you just pull it down, it'll do that, which is the issue I always have. So I have to remember to, oh God, I'm gonna screw this up. See, like you can't, you've got to kind of finagle it a little bit, which is not gonna work out. And I'm worried I'm gonna have to like cut away, which is gonna annoy me. And I know somebody online is watching right now screaming, "That's not how you do it!" Which, thanks, that's super helpful. See, like it'll go back and do this. Ah, did I get it? The funny, sad part is, there we go, is I practice this a lot for about 5 or 10 minutes beforehand. But yeah, you get it flush, kind of. You get, it's super awkward. They could have come up with a better way than that. And spoilers, there's the face, because I'm not dealing with that again. And you just put it, well, you fold the condor's face back, and you just put it there on those pegs. And that gives it the weight it needs to kind of not fall back. I mean, it's, You can still knock it over, but why would you want to do that? So Wildcat is pretty easy. Kind of pull it forward, the head, torso, and flip the tail back. Flip my tail back and forth. Anyway, so fold your front paws up as if you're going to be doing this personally on your body. I hope. Cats, why are you watching YouTube? Fold the legs forward, do that, and then continue. And then you take your knuckles and you attach them here. Now this is the wrong one because I never want my screws showing, and I hope none of you do. Be decent. But you want the fist, if you're bad at thumb placement like I am, and sadly still have to think left or right or put your fists out and go, where does my thumb go? The triangles point to the outside, which is how I remember it. And then boom, it links. And the same basic transformation for the Wildcat. Pick those up, fold that in, fold that down. Fist, triangle on the outside, boom, plug in. And then the final piece, the crown, which I've seen, I'm pretty sure my last one that I owned before this did not have those horns, but like anything that's detachable, it can be lost, and it probably was lost by a lot of children. But here we go. It's the Galaxy Megazord. Like I said, he's a clunker. He's heavy. And I really like it on the shelf. It just works for me as a toy. In the show, not so much. I don't know. But as a toy, he looks awesome. You can rotate his arms in. You can eventually get 360-degree rotation with the condor coming off because he's a weapon. So pretending that's not there, boom. And that is the end of the articulation for this thing. Two things. The condor, you pull this down and you put, you put this in and you've got the condor missile. There was a name for it, I forget, I don't know. But it's like a crossbow using the Zord. It reminds me of the Firebird and the Mega Tiger Zord formation. It's awesome. I guess you could also say it's like any other one we've had with a gun. The Mega Voyager had its rocket. But this just looks cool. I like it. Except I never display it this way because when you put it back in, and you'll notice this in coming reviews of the future, or if you watch this one out of order, God willing, I have 50 reviews at some point or more. Oh God, I'll never get it back in, but there's a hole, and there's a hole in his die cast piece. His look, the body. Anyway, I really have a thing for Megazords that have wings. And you'll notice that I will say that a lot. I just like how they look. I'm going to attribute it to my love of superheroes and capes. No capes! Except in this household. We are a cape household. So I display him like this, but finally with his sword. The Galaxy Saber. I don't remember what it was called. Probably the Galaxy Saber. So, boom. He is powerful. Now, in Japan, the toy line got the Lights of Orion power-up mode, which was another crown and a chest piece and a different hilt for the sword. It also came with a Magna Defender / Bull Black figure. I don't know why it was bundled separately, aside from Bandai to make more money, like a toy company would want to do. So, don't hate the game, I guess. But I don't think we got that here. And it's expensive. I was actually looking at it today, and currently, as of this recording, the lowest I could find was $100, which, yeah, you get a figure in 2 pieces for the Zords, which I can buy a lot of well, not a lot, but there are a lot of other Megazords that cost that amount versus just what is an accessory. But I do know that there are some 3D printers who sell pieces that are fully customized and painted, and one of them sells that for this, and I'm considering getting it. Even though I don't like how the mode looks, it feels wrong not to own it. I don't like powered up modes, especially on Rangers. It's just something I'm not into. So we'll see. We'll get there. But yeah, that's basically it. Something neat about the Lost Galaxy Zords that I had never really thought of beforehand is that they don't combine with each other. So there aren't like crazy combinations to make, which is kind of cool in its own way, kind of unique. Each thing kind of has to stand on its own merits. So I kind of like that about the series. I don't own anything else except for the Defender Torazord, which I don't have here because this is not its review. But we'll see once I decide what I'm going to buy next. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe, that kind of YouTube jargon. You can check me out on Twitter, which is, my handle there is OG Machinations. You can check me out on Instagram at Old God Machinations, and you can see some of my collection. It's not very big as far as the postings yet. The collection itself is huge, in my opinion. But you might also see some stuff that'll be coming up soon. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do next. I have an idea, but everything's kind of random. We're just going to play it by ear. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.